Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today. So, Dale and I are in different spots of the house. We're still together on the same land, but he's inside just in case something goes wrong outside. But I am out here in the garden today. So, hopefully, we'll be able to walk through the garden and show you a little bit about everything that we are getting started right now, all the seeds that we've been starting, and everything that you guys can get started too this March. We're super excited about it.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. We tried this last week for the first time where we had Carrie go out in the garden and it seemed to work well. So we're going to try it again and hopefully show you all a little more hands-on about of what we're doing in our garden and how you can grow food and all of that. So we've got a lot of people here already. Thanks everyone for joining. I see Smart Pots in the chat. Shout out to
Oh,
Smart Pots.
hi. Yeah,
Um,
we love our smart pots.
I've spent legit like 3 hours of my life power washing Smart Pots this week. So that's a lot of time with smart pots. We are going through and we basically doubled our garden, and you'll be seeing all of that really soon on our Instagram and here on YouTube. But that's what we've been doing is getting our summer garden ready. Our spring garden is completely planted out now. That's what Carrie will be showing. That's what you're seeing behind her. We have our spring garden all planted, and now we are moving on to getting all of our summer gardens built and everything. So, but today we are talking all about planting seeds outside right now in March. So, we
Yeah,
got
so for those of you who don't know, we're actually in zone 7 and we're in Oklahoma. So, and don't worry, we're a little bit early on a lot of things. So, don't worry, you guys aren't late for unless you are, I guess, in Florida or something or California. I don't know.
yeah, we
Deep, deep
started our
south.
garden. We started our garden earlier. You can see the greenhouse covers behind Carrie. Those allowed us to start a little bit early. So we started back in early February. So you'll see some stuff we'll be showing here in a second is stuff that we started back then. And this is all stuff that you can put in the ground now in a large part of the country. If you're all the way up north, maybe not quite yet, but
Maybe
um,
towards the end of the month.
yeah, but that's where the app comes in. So our app was built. We built it to make it easy for you to know when to plant where you are. So all the things that we're showing today are in the app. All these specific varieties are in the app as well. We're growing every variety of broccoli and bok choy and lettuce and spinach and all sorts of stuff, and you'll see all that. So if you have any questions or comments, we love funny comments, that kind of stuff. Throw them in the chat, and that will enter you to win a free year of premium. The premium membership to our Seed to Spoon app, which gives you unlimited plants you can add to your garden. It gives you unlimited questions with GrowBot, full access to all of our features, including the new themes that we just added, and a whole lot more stuff. And on top of all that, you also get free shipping on all orders through the app. So that's a big deal right there. We just added that about a month ago now. So we're really excited about the free shipping. And again, all of the varieties and everything we're showing are things that we carry in our app. So, all right, Carrie, you want
And
to?
we're also giving away a seating square too.
Oh yeah,
Did we
yeah,
leave the seating square out here? I think so.
yeah. I
As
see
we're
it
going through.
by the front of the garden. I can see it out my window.
Okay. I'll show it as we go by. But
Yep.
we've been using the seating square. The seating square is amazing. It is super helpful when you're doing square foot gardening, especially, and also just keeping your plants all organized. I'll show you how pretty it makes it because we use the seating square whenever we're direct seeding all of our stuff outside, and it makes it so much nicer, and it just looks really pretty too. And the kids love it too. Okay, I'll get walking here. Okay. I'm going underneath our trellis. We don't
Carrie,
have anything planted there yet.
yeah, Carrie loves arches, so you'll see. Hey, can you show them just a quick peek of the new garden area? Can you just show them like over there
Yeah.
on the other side, making her walk back and forth across the garden today? If
Okay.
I want to show
There.
y'all, this is how much Carrie loves arches. I guess they
Can
don't
you
really come
see
through
it?
very well
Yeah, because they don't have anything on them yet.
Okay, well, we'll make some better content, but all of those T-posts have arches on them. We have like
Yeah.
arches we made. All right, so let's talk about the spring garden. Switch back to there again. Go to the first bed that we have up here. I can see you out the window too. It's kind of cool.
Hi.
Okay, so in this bed here, we have a mix of greens. So bok choy has been something that we have struggled with over the years, and what we have learned through this round is bok choy can be pretty temperamental. So our strategy of planting a new round every week or so really paid off. Also, these greenhouse covers that we have really helped a lot with the bok choy as well. So we've got a lot of different varieties there. Carrie, can you get a little bit closer and kind of get really close to some of the bok choy and let's show like hoping people can see like, how beautiful this is.
Oh,
And
I know, it's so pretty.
I'm so excited for these leaves. We're going to be using these in stir fries a lot. That's going to be the main thing that we're using bok choy in. But I also really like some of these big cabbage leaves as like a little like tortilla replacement for a little taco or something like that. I really like to use it for that. You can see one thing too is everything is spaced out all nice and neat, and really makes Carrie and I's OCD happy. And this is all because of the seating square. So whenever we planted all of this, we used the seating square. Um, Carrie, do you want to go grab the seating square and we can show it? It's right over to your left, over by that smart pot.
That's it. I'll grab it.
So this device that she's walking over right now. You'll see in just a second. Okay. So this seating square made it really easy to go through and get everything all nice and planted out and spaced evenly, especially like the lettuce, the radish, carrots, things like that. They're the 16 per square. But if you kind of scan the garden, like, and show like everything is nice and organized, and it makes it not just like it looks nice, but it also makes it easier to stay organized and to know what you have and what did well and what didn't. At least for me, like having everything nice and organized. And we have labels for every variety there. So we actually did a test there. You can see like we have two labels next to each other. One label we did with a Sharpie, and the other label we did with the garden marker that is in our store, because this garden marker is incredible. Look at, can you zoom in on one of those labels?
Let's see if it'll show. Can you see?
Like the Sharpie's completely gone and the garden marker is still showing. So
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
yeah. So we have a lot of different greens in here. And again, these are all greens that if you want to start growing food now, you can basically get the seeds for these, go out in your garden and put them in the ground now. And for most of the country, this is going to be the perfect time for it. And in about a month, you will have what you're seeing on your screen right now. I've only fertilized these once with some fish fertilizer. I think it's over there right next to you too, Carrie.
Yep, it's right here. I smell it.
Our dog came in and opened it up and knocked it over. So it's definitely fish fertilizer out there right now. But I did one round of that about a week ago. That's all the fertilizer we've used. It's really easy to grow, and it tastes incredible. Over here, we have some spinach. So this is, again, each row is a different variety of spinach that's in the app. I love growing spinach. It is my favorite thing to grow. And I have a question I'm going to go ahead and pull up here about square foot gardening, because that definitely ties into how we plant. All of this was planted via the square foot gardening guidelines of how many you plant per square. And the seeding square goes along with that. So it's a device that makes it easy to plan this out. So you can see that all of these spinach are all lined up and they're all 9 per square. And it's really nice and organized. If you've never grown your own spinach or had fresh spinach out of a garden, I highly encourage you to try it, because my only experience with spinach before growing it was like I would get it at Subway on my sandwich to feel like I was being healthy, and it never really tasted. I never like had much taste from it. that I picked up on. Like it just seemed like one of those things I was just adding. Once I started growing it in the garden, everything changed, and it tastes so much better out of the garden. I can't even describe. Like it's just the texture of it, the flavors. There's a lot of different varieties with different flavors. There's different leaf shapes. There's different, like some of the larger leaves will again use kind of like a tortilla replacement. Um, some of the smaller leaves will use as like salads, stuff like that. So and a question here about the seeding square. So yes, so we do have a feature in the app where it shows you how many per square you can fit everything. So that's one of the care detail guidelines in the app. If you go to the plant, is it has exactly how many per square it should be. So what else do we have in here? I think we have some lettuce.
We have some kale over here.
And the way that we handle these covers, you can see we've got them propped open. I have this little temperature sensor here that I keep next to my desk, and there's sensors inside of each one of those. And whenever it gets too hot, which basically it's anytime it's open like that, and that makes sure that it doesn't get too hot in there. Because if you leave them closed, they will bake. And we're at the point in the season now where we need to have all these covers switched over. It's been on our list. And that rooster has a lot to say. Carrie, I'm going to mute you for just a second.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So we're at the point in the season where we need to be switching all of these over to either insect netting or like a really light frost blanket, like frost covering. We have that on some of the other ones. It's just been so windy the past week that we haven't really had a chance to get out and do that. But you can see she's going over and showing now. These are the light frost blankets that we have, that we use, especially at this time of the year. We don't necessarily have to prop them open because it doesn't get near as hot and they're breathable. The heavier the frost blanket, the more you have to prop it open. This is a 1 ounce if you want to like nerd out on exactly what it is. But anyway, the big benefit of these is that it prevents insects from getting to your plants. So the biggest thing we're really fighting with a lot of the crops that you're growing in the spring are caterpillars. There's going to be all these little white butterflies flying around that lay their eggs and obviously turn into caterpillars, and that's really what damages a lot of these different plants you're going to be seeing today. So these covers help protect from that. It also protects from the wind. We live in Oklahoma, which is one of the windiest places, in the States, and they can really wreak havoc on the plants. And these covers provide a really nice windbreak. You can also see like some shade that it's providing during certain times of the day too. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why we have these covers. But let's show some of the plants that you've got on that garden now. Is this our broccoli and cauliflower garden?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a mix of broccoli and cauliflower, and then in between, this doesn't have the rows. This is where we're putting onions in between. So one of the next things we're doing is planting onions in between each one of these rows to help deter pests. Now, it is going to have the cover on it, so it's going to be a big benefit as well. But onions are a really good companion plant to grow with broccoli and cauliflower and all the things you're seeing in here. So we did grow them pretty intensive here. A lot of these varieties are sprouting varieties or hybrid varieties that don't necessarily get super large. They just produce a bunch of side shoots. So, and the one thing that we have noticed, we've done some testing this spring where we have a couple of beds that have no cover on them whatsoever. And the broccoli that's been in those beds has not done nearly as well as the ones from that are covered. So that's made a big difference, is having these covers, especially like more than anything with the broccoli, the cauliflower, and the cabbages. And again, in most of the country, we're at the point now where you can plant all of these things directly from seed in the ground right now. You don't need to go through the hassle of indoor seed starting on a lot of this stuff. We're at the point where you could go outside, put seeds in the ground now, and what you're seeing now is stuff that we did about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So in about a month, you'll have basically what you're seeing now. Let me catch up on questions real fast. Carrie, is there anything you want to show or talk about while I look at we have a question about companion plants. And the app does have a feature that shows you the best companion plants for each plant. So if you go into the details for a plant, there's a tab at the very top that you can tap on for companions, and it will take you directly to that section of the app. And it'll show you all the best companions and also like the things to avoid planting, because sometimes like peas and garlic, for example, like don't go well together, so we keep those away from each other. There's other examples of things that don't pair well together, and all that is in the app as well. Okay, circling back on questions to see if there's anything I need to cover about what we've shown so far. Sorry, y'all, it's hard to talk and read these at the same time. I'm trying. Okay, I don't see anything immediately about any of the questions we talked about here. All right, what are we looking at now? This is, can you get a
So
little?
yeah, these are ones that we actually just started pretty recently, maybe like a week or two ago. And probably like a week. And we have like little almost true sets of leaves for spinach. You can see the seed leaves. And then we have a bunch of lettuce coming up down here, along with some mustard up here. And then we have some Swiss chard too. I absolutely love Swiss chard. That's probably one of my favorite greens that we grow.
Yeah, I should make you full screen. I think I can do that without like it
That
might.
taking you away?
I think it's going to cut me off when I do that, so I'm going to give it to you for a second, so you can. I want people to see the baby spinach though, and so like
Yeah.
this, I think spinach or one of the is a plant that really does it. Like it's easy to see the difference between seed leaves and true leaves because of how different they look.
Hopefully you all can see that okay. I can't really see the phone and what I'm showing, so I'm trying my best here. So right here, these are the seed leaves right here for the spinach. And then you can kind of see these little itty bitty baby leaves, which are the true leaves. Those are the true leaves are the ones of like what it's going to look like whenever it's an adult. So that's how you know the difference. So this is a really good example of seed leaves and true leaves.
Okay, I brought it back so I can talk to you. Okay, so let me see. We have a couple questions I want to pull up here from chat. One question is about onions, putting them in between other plants instead of giving them their own space. That is the primary way that we plant onions, is we plant them either in between rows or we plant them, a lot of times we'll put them around the edge of a garden bed too. But I basically try and sneak them in everywhere I can. Um, Onions are a great companion plant to most everything except for peas. Peas are the thing that it's one of those things that they just don't do well together. But everything else, onions help out, especially all these brassicas. So
Yeah, a lot of the times, like we just really we literally just line the garden beds with onions. It's like a layer of protection for everything that's on the inside of it.
Question here about companion plants. So you don't want to put them in the same square foot as the other plant. You want to give them their own square. So, and trying to think, there could be examples of when you would do that, but it's really rare. I mean, every now and then I'll sneak in some like lettuce underneath of a tomato or something in the same square, or a carrot or something like that. But for the most part, everything is like follows the same rules of perfect gardening where it's in the same square. Okay, what else do we have to show out there, Carrie?
Let's see. So different types of things we planted so far. Peas. We've done a lot of peas. They aren't coming up yet because we just started them. But as you can see, we have a trellis right here, and then we planted peas along each line here. And then they will eventually here, hopefully soon, be popping up here and growing up this trellis right here. So we're gonna have like walls of peas right here.
Yeah, these trellises were really easy to build. We just basically use T-posts and cattle panels. And that's what we do as a lot for a lot of our trellises. Either we put them up this way, or sometimes we'll do the arch as well. That's more for like tomatoes and tomatillos and other vining crops that get a little bigger. Peas you only grow to like 5 or 6 feet tall max. So these trellises work out perfect for that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different varieties of peas too that we have that are like patio varieties and things like that that we aren't going to be planting against the trellis. Like a lot of them don't even need a trellis because they're just a little compact plant that are supposed to give you a good amount of peas. So we have those peas growing in other areas as well.
Okay, I think that's pretty much everything to show in this garden.
Well, we have root crops here as well, like
Oh
spinach
yeah,
or sorry,
yep.
carrots, turnips, and beets and radish. We have all those right here. And I
So it's
doubt you can
again,
see, but there's little teeny tiny sprouts there. Little teeny.
one tip on carrots is we didn't do it in this bed because we've been pretty diligent in mowing, but if you use burlap and cover the seeds, then it will help with keeping them moist for carrots to germinate. So that's one tip on how to germinate carrots. But again, it's the right time to plant all these root crops as well in most of the country. Basically, if the soil can be worked, if it's not frozen, then you can plant these. And the roosters are being very loud today.
They are right outside the garden, and there's two of them yelling at each other. So
Yeah, problems. Well, Gary, do you want to come around here and show the gardens that we have going over here on the patio?
yeah.
Because the garden that we have here is our test garden where we're trying to grow, again, at least one of every variety of most of the plants that we have in our app. Carrie, I'm going to turn your video off till you get over here, and then.
Okay.
So we have another garden that we're working on that is right outside of our patio that is meant to be more of a representation of a garden that anyone could have, just like right outside of a patio or you know, in a backyard area. So she's walking over to show that now. But there's a lot of varieties out there that grow well in small spaces and that stay compact. And that's a lot of what we're trying over in this garden. We're also trying a lot of different methods of growing in different containers and stuff like that. So she's walking over there now. I see a couple of questions that pop up that came up. Let me see here. So cowpeas do not need to be trellis, but you don't start them until the summer. Like so the black-eyed peas, that's a summer crop that does really well in the heat. So that's not something you're going to plant until then. Okay, I see Carrie's over here now. All right, Carrie.
Hi.
Okay, so a couple different things we're growing over here. We have a metal raised bed. These are made by Vigo Gardens, and again, we carry these in the app. This is a new thing that we're trying here, and we have a lot of root crops in there. Carrie, we have some sprouts coming up from all the root crops. We also use seed tape on these beds to make it a lot easier to plant. If you've never seen seed tape, it's basically just like a roll of toilet paper type tape that has seeds inside of it, and then you unroll it and then water it, and it makes planting a lot of these root crops a lot easier.
Yeah, the sprouts are super tiny. I don't know if it's coming over, like if you're able to see them or not. Oh, there's a pea sprout. Pea is sprouting.
You have one?
Right there. Yeah, there's one that's coming up right there. It's exciting. Sorry, I get excited.
You want to show our grow towers as well?
Yeah.
Something else that we've been growing, trying a lot of are these grow towers. We have a couple of these small ones that are like cheap ones that I got from Amazon. I've heard that the Dollar Tree has pretty much the same thing as well. But these larger ones I like a lot more. These are made from green stalk, and it's kind of hard to see. Can you range it? Like, turn your range a bit? Like, she can't use her back camera.
Maybe.
This
Yeah.
we use for streaming doesn't let her do that. It makes her use her front camera.
So I can't really see. So hi.
But these grow towers, I'm really liking, and I have like one of them on a swivel base, so you can rotate them around. We have them filled with different greens, and you can see our construction area in the background.
Yeah.
But we just built this house, and we're still kind of working on the landscaping around it. But it's fun because it's a blank canvas. So we are building all new gardens and everything. And these grow towers, I'm really liking these because they're right outside of our patio, and the way that you water them is just filling up the very top section, and then the water trickles down into the plants. So I'm curious to see how well they're going to do in the summer here in Oklahoma, and what I'm going to grow in them in the summer in Oklahoma. If you've used these and you have any good ideas for things that would grow well in the summer, let me know. Like, my thoughts right now are bush beans. I'm thinking about growing a bunch of bush beans in them. I think flowers would do well in them. I think things like marigolds would do well.
I think we're going to do some herbs and things like that too.
Yeah, but if you have other ideas, question from Kathy, who makes the grow tower. So it's made from green stalk, is the name of the company. If you just search for that, you'll find them. But they're pretty good price. It was like $170, I think, for one of those grow towers. So, and like I've made something like that in the past out of like a 55-gallon rain barrel, and it was a lot of work, and it was a pain in the butt, and it involved like cutting plastic and heating it up with a heat gun, and then accidentally burning yourself with the heat gun. I think Carrie still has a scar on her leg.
I do, yeah.
So that wasn't much fun doing that route. So you can definitely build something like that. Strawberries would do amazing in them. I just don't know if, like, in Oklahoma in the summer, I don't know how well that's going to go. I want something I can get production from throughout the summer out of these grow towers. Question from Justin: can you put enemy plants on the opposite sides? That's generally okay, as long as, like, there are certain things like, is it fennel, Carrie, that is the enemy of everything? Like fennel,
Yeah. Fennel, it needs to have a separate root area, like soil. So if you have fennel into like a container or something like that, then that's fine.
Carrie, for the record, you're doing an excellent camera job. Thank you, Lenora.
Oh, thank you. Woo!
For fertilizer, so let's talk about that. We use a Spoma fertilizer as an all-purpose fertilizer, and then I also use a liquid fertilizer, like a fish fertilizer, especially for greens, every 3 weeks. That's pretty much all we use for fertilizer. So what Carrie's showing now are some smaller smart pots that we have right outside of our back patio as well. So we have one rosemary in there, and we have
some collards, a kohlrabi, and some lettuce and asperbrock.
Broccoli?
Yep.
A comment here saying at least 12 inches if you ever want to grow carrots or deep root crops. I definitely agree. Those the metal raised bed that we have them in. How deep is that, Carrie? Is that 18 inches probably, at least?
Yeah. It's very. I mean,
a lot of the smart pots too.
It's up to my knee, and I'm very tall, so.
Question from Kathy: how did I sterilize our smart pots? Well, I have spent the process like at least 3 hours this week power washing smart pots. So that's primarily. Now, I've had a couple that were rough enough that I needed to soak them in some cleaner for a little bit, just because they had, like, I mean, I'm so hard on our smart pots. Like, a lot of them were sitting. It was a mess. we had a lot extra than when we moved over from the old house, and we're getting all of them set up again. So anyway, it was a project to go through and wash them all. But the great thing about the smart pots is they clean up really well, even if they're in like horrible shape. Just power wash them; they look good as new. They are basically good as new. We have some that I have put through the ringer for how many years we've been doing this now, Carrie? 9?
Yeah, yeah, very long time. And we
Yeah.
got some of our smart pots like pretty close, like right as soon as we started.
Yeah, I think it was year 2. So like we're on like year 8 of some of these smart pots, and they've been
Yeah.
dragged all around Oklahoma. They've been left out around. They've been driven over with tractors. There's a lot has happened to these smart pots. Question about worm castings. I love worm castings, and they're great to use anytime, especially with seedlings. That's primarily the only fertilizer we'll use if it's a seedling that hasn't gone out in the garden yet, like it's something we're doing seed starting with. Okay. Do we have anything else we want
I
to
do
show?
want to show one more thing. Even though we don't have it planted out, I'm just really excited about this area right here, which is our little smart pot.
Oh, that.
Well, with our hanging baskets too,
Yeah.
because they have these. These are actually smart pot liners for hanging baskets. I'm really excited about that. So we'll be starting flowers soon too. And we're going to be direct seeding some of them too.
And then there's a new smart pot that we're trying out too. Do you want to show that one?
Yeah. We don't have it completely together yet.
Well,
it's right here. So it has this.
And then I broke that piece because I tried to dump soil in. And I also like got some spray paint because I'm gonna spray paint those pieces. So it's like pretty much put together, but it's nice because it's this PVC frame that holds the smart pot up. And I think it's pretty much going to give us the same option as the Vigo garden, except these are considerably cheaper. So I'm pretty excited about it. And also just the benefits of having the air pruning on the side and the benefits that you get of growing in a smart pot as well. I'm excited about this one. We're going to have lavender in this and just a whole bunch of my favorite flowers as far as scents go are lavender, chamomile, and sage. And we're going to have all of those there because it's right outside my office window, literally right there.
Yep.
Yep. So in the summer, I can open the window and then in comes the scent from there while I'm working. And okay, I'm trying to catch up on questions too. It's hard, y'all, trying to like go back and forth and talking and looking at questions and stuff. Oh, we forgot to talk about kohlrabi. How did we do that? But Michelle saved the day.
Thank you, Michelle.
We have kohlrabi scattered around too. That was one of the other things mixed in with the broccoli and the cauliflower.
I'm gonna see if I can find one.
Yeah, she loves kohlrabi.
Yes.
Well, like it's
They
one of
look
those things
so much fun.
we'd never grown before a couple of years ago, and it's great because you get a fast harvest off of it. It's kind of like growing broccoli, except you harvest it much quicker and it doesn't have all the risk of broccoli. What I mean by that is like getting a large broccoli head can be difficult when you're fighting hailstorms and bugs and everything else, but kohlrabi is producing in like 48 days and you're getting basically the same flavor and same consistency of broccoli. In the stir fry, you can't really tell it.
There's some. They're still really tiny.
Look at those little baby kohlrabi.
Yeah, but kohlrabi, what's great about them is it has a super fast harvest. Like, I think from sprout to harvest is like 50 or 60 days, which is amazing.
Carrie, do we have any tips on starting pansy seeds?
No. I mean, we started them this year, but that's the first time that we've done it.
Yeah, I got to be real with y'all on flowers. Is we don't have a lot of experience with growing flowers, but that's all changing because both of us are kind of obsessed with starting flowers right now, and we have thousands of flower seeds in our garage right now, and some have gone really well, and some haven't, and we're learning a lot from that right now. So I can't speak intelligently on pansy seeds right now, but who can? You know where I'm going, Carrie. Growbot can. So check out our Growbot app. If you're not familiar, it's our AI chatbot that we trained on data, and Park Seed has a ton of data on pansies. And so check out Growbot, and it'll help you with pansy seeds. Next year, I got you. Like, I'll be able to tell you all about pansies next year.
Yeah, I can't remember what the germination type. Like we always looked at the back of the seed packet whenever we were starting out their flowers, since we were so unfamiliar with them. So whatever the back of the Park seed packet said to do, that's what we did.
So Mo said it's not germinating for him. Here's so let's look at our pansies. Let's make a video on pansies and get them out on Instagram here
Okay.
for Carrie for Mo. So
Okay.
that'll start some of our flower content. Let's take a look at how our pansies are doing
I'll
and
do it.
put out what we've learned about it. But
I need to add pansies into the app as well.
Okay, question. What are the best shallow root crops to plant in very shallow beds? Okay, radish, number one. There's also going to be different varieties of carrots that are called half long, or there's going to be different varieties of carrots that would work well. Also,
Beets would be a really good one.
maybe depending on the variety and how you grew them. Basically, just anything that's short is going to be better off. But even something like carrots, like it wants a longer taproot. Like even the shorter ones, it's gonna be tough. Like radish is going to be your best bet by far, though, and radish is really fast to grow as well. I still haven't figured out how to make radish like taste amazing. I'm still trying to make it where I crave radish because it'd be really convenient if I loved radish with how easy it is to grow.
Well, we had some good tips that one workshop that we had.
On Instagram, you can find us under From Seed to Spoon. So we have links on our website too. If you just go to seedtospoon.net or in our app, there's also a link to our Instagram in the menu. But you can find us as From Seed to Spoon anywhere on the internet. We're pretty much Carrie's constantly having to post on different networks because we're on all of them. We're on TikTok too. So okay, so it is 12:37. Let me just do a time check here. Are there any questions you guys have about starting seeds in the spring? We can talk about some of our favorite varieties. I don't think we really went into that much.
Yeah.
Any non-root crops that work well in shallow beds? Lettuce, spinach, Swiss chard, all the greens pretty much. Peas aren't going to do well. They like a deeper root structure. Broccoli isn't going to do well. I would avoid the brassicas, but all of the lettuces and spinaches, Swiss chard, all of that will do well. We have not grown stevia from seed yet, have we? We've bought it as a transplant, but we
had it as a transplant.
Yeah, it's on our list though for summer stuff.
Yeah.
So we will be.
Yeah, I definitely want to try that. That's one of the fun ones.
Julie says we should use radish in place of potatoes in a roast.
Okay, we'll do it. Thanks, Julie.
Jess is asking if there's a way to filter the planting list by planting month. We need to do that. I'm kind of shocked we don't have that as a feature. There's a few features that kind of let you do this. You can filter by cool season. That'll filter it down to a few months. The Plant Now widget on the dashboard shows you like what you can plant in the next 30 days. So that lets you see like the current month, but there's not a way on the filters to show to do that. So that's a great suggestion, and we will take that back to the developers. We'll talk to them about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we want to talk about? Any other questions y'all have about growing? We didn't talk about potatoes yet. That's something else that we will be planting here later in the month. We haven't planted them yet. Here in Oklahoma, it's kind of the folklore of you plant potatoes around St. Patrick's Day. So typically that's usually when we plant potatoes. So we're a little later in the month we'll be planting that. It's also a good time to get berry bushes in the ground. So if you want to grow raspberries, blueberries, all of that kind of stuff,
Herbs as well. It's a good time to get like any herbs that you grew or propagated or that you're wanting to start outdoors.
Yep, we have a whole bunch of herbs that we propagated in November and have been sitting and growing in 4-inch pots now over the winter, and they're ready to go out now. So we'll have those that'll be going out. If you missed any of that stuff, check out some of our previous content where we showed how we did all of this stuff.
Well, and also next week we're going to be going into depth about herbs, so we'll be talking all about herbs.
Oh, good callback. We love cooking with herbs and we love using herbs. So we'll talk your ear off about herbs next week. Question from Michelle. If we tried the pelleted potato. We actually did. This was our first time to start potatoes from seed. And they're still little babies. We'll let you know how it goes. But it took a while for them to germinate. But we are trying it for the first time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how it works.
Question about the best way to grow berries in pots or in the ground. It's really going to depend on what your soil type is. Here in Oklahoma, blackberries grow native, so they do really well in the ground here. Blueberries don't do so well in the ground because they need acidic soil, and it's not acidic here. So they do better in a container because I can make the soil more acidic. So it really just depends on what it is you're trying to grow. What type of berry it is and what kind of soil you have. In general, raised beds are always going to outperform growing in the ground because you're going to be able to have a better mix of nutrients. It's going to have better drainage. You're going to be able to control things like soil pH and fertilizer and all of that a little easier than you can if you're growing specifically just in the ground. Any specific plants we recommend growing for full shade? Yes. So lettuce, I feel like this is the answer to everything. I don't mean that to be, but that's just the way it's worked out today. But lettuce grows really well in the shade. Swiss chard. Spinach
Mint
needs a little more. Yeah, mint is a great
Mint
one.
does really good in the shade.
Mint
We've also had
kale,
bee
you might
balm
want to
do
grow.
really well in the shade before.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't. I mean, it's in the mint family, so that makes sense.
Yeah, but that has such beautiful flowers. It's surprising for the shade.
What else? I bet radish you could probably pull off growing in the shade.
We do have a filter on the app too for tolerates shade.
Yep.
So it'll give you some that are part shade also though, but you can it'll give you an idea too. Or Growbot will give you a list also.
Recommendation for the easiest berry to grow. Blackberries are really easy to grow. And they have varieties that are thornless. So I recommend getting those. They do require some trellising. I guess technically you don't have to. They'll kind of go off on their own, but it'll make your life easier if you trellis them as they grow. I wouldn't say any of the berries are necessarily super hard. I think blackberries and that could just be because I'm in Oklahoma.
Strawberries are pretty easy as well.
Yeah. I would say things like blueberries are the hardest just because you have to account for soil pH and things like that. But even that's not hard. Like, don't be intimidated by it. They have a soil acidifier that we sell in the app. It's made by Espoma, and it has directions on there of how to use it, and it's really easy.
You know what a really random, really easy berry is? It's the goji berry.
Yeah, those are good.
That one, I love the taste of them. I absolutely love them. And it is so easy. Like, I feel like we planted it and then we forgot about it, and it still just performs really well every year. It does really great. I love goji berries.
Like tiny little red berries that were perfect on like a wrap.
And they're like, they're almost like sweet. They're like sweet tomatoes, kind of. It's interesting. I really love them.
I want one now. You can't buy them in the store. That's the thing that sucks about some of this stuff is like you get addicted to it and then you can't get it.
See, that's the great thing about growing it. Makes you appreciate it too.
Question about whether there's a soil testing product we recommend. Not really. I always recommend going to your local extension office. So throughout every state, there's going to be, or every county has a county extension office that does stuff like this. It'll be like $15 probably to get a soil test, and that's what I've always recommended and what I've always done whenever I do a soil test. I don't mess with soil testing though if I'm just making my own raised bed mix, which is what we make for most of our gardens, where we follow the Mel's mix of coconut coir or peat moss, vermiculite, and compost, and you just mix all of those together. So that's what we recommend for soil. If you need to make your soil more acidic, there's a product by Espoma. It's called Soil Acidifier. And if you just search for blueberry acidifier on our website on Park Seed, you'll find it there. And you can save 15% on all of this with Spoon 15, by the way. That's a coupon code that you can use through the app. I know I've got a thing here somewhere.
And if you're a year subscriber, you get free shipping.
We're trying to get better at this sales stuff. See, we're not salespeople. I don't know if y'all, we're not great at the sales side of things. But I mean, this stuff is honestly a good deal. So it makes it easier to sell.
I get excited for free shipping, so that is excitement for me.
when the biodome was half off the other day, I was excited because I remember before we got them for free. I remember when we had to pay for all the biodomes and stuff. So, that stuff excites us. So we'd like to share those things over with you guys. That's one of the fun things about being partnered with Park Seed is being able to bring you guys things like the biodome and all their varieties that they have. And we geek out with them on bringing in new varieties. And there's a whole lot of new purple varieties and stuff. There's a purple variety that's going to be on sale coming up. Purple Magic broccoli I saw as part of that. So I guess I'm leaking sale information, so I won't get in trouble. But you heard it here first. Purple broccoli sell soon. I know Michelle's excited. Okay. So let's announce a winner, and then we'll circle back and answer more questions. If I missed your question from earlier, please put it in chat again. When I'm talking a lot, it's hard to. I'm doing my best. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I don't have access because I'm on my phone, so I can't help at all. So sorry.
This is our first time trying this, where Carrie's outside the whole time, and I'm in here. Let us know what you think about this. If it worked out better. Someone asked for the code again, so I'm trying to find it again. I'm not a great multitasker. Okay. There's the code. I'll leave that up on screen for a bit. So you can save 15% with Spoon 15. Michelle says her purple broccoli is already out in the garden.
Nice. Yeah, I want to see pictures of it. Yeah, we have some of our purple sprouting broccoli outside as well.
Have we grown the purple cauliflower? We have a purple cauliflower, but I don't know if it's Sicily.
It's not purple of Sicily. It's
purple sprouting.
Purple. Is it de purple? Is that that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do have a purple cauliflower, but not that one. And I do love it.
I can't, in good faith, recommend any compost that comes out of a bag, unless that compost was bagged at the place that made it, or at like a nursery or something. But if you're buying it from a store, it's just, I don't see how the microbes are going to survive in there on the shelf for a long time. I want my compost to be fresh out of where it came from. So like with our compost, we're generally buying it in bulk from a local supplier, or we're making it ourselves. But I can't recommend a bagged one. Now, if you go to a nursery, a lot of times they'll have higher quality compost options, and it might come in a bag, and that's okay because they bagged it right there. I'm just saying, like, I'm not going to walk into the hardware store, if you will, and buy compost. I'll buy peat moss there. That's fine, but there's nothing living in peat moss. So, how much hardening off time is needed for cool crops? I know I said I was going to announce our winner, and I keep answering questions, so I need to actually announce. Let's answer this one last question, and then we'll announce.
So typically what we do is generally speaking about a week is what we do, and that's give or take. I mean, depending on how your weather is. If you have like a sudden frost, like sudden drop in temperature, you'll probably want to hold off a little bit and look at the temperature in the future as well. But typically about a week or so is all that's needed.
Okay, we got a winner. So congratulations to Lenora.
Congratulations.
Email us at info@seedtospoon.net, and Andrew will get you set up with a 1-year membership to Seed to Spoon Premium and also a seeding square. So congratulations.
Woo. Yeah, I love the seeding square. I hope you like it too. It makes planting so much simpler.
Seems like people like us doing the out the garden stuff. So we got some good feedback on that. Oop, they clicked the wrong button. Okay. So no to black. I mean, I don't want to like disparage another brand or anything, but that's not what I will be doing. But I was, this is coming from Square Foot Gardening and Michael Pollan and reading a bunch of that kind of stuff. So I'm sure it works fine, but I like to do things a certain way, and I want I'm pretty geeky about compost. I got burned, so I got burned on compost once really bad, where we were making our own compost from horse manure that was sprayed with an herbicide, and it ended up killing our whole garden. So I'm kind of particular about what we use now and all that. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions here. Again, next week we're going to be talking about herbs. So not just about growing them, but really more about how we like to cook with them, what we like to use them with, all that. We love herbs. It's one of those things where when we first started growing food, it's really exciting to have zucchini like fresh from your garden for about 2 or 3 days before it gets boring and you get tired of this exact same taste. And that's really where herbs come in, because it makes it to where you can take the same zucchini plant and just pair it with a different variety of basil or rosemary or oregano, and it makes it taste completely different. And it makes it like we went through a spring where we challenged ourselves to pretty much only eat stuff that came out of our garden aside from meat and stuff like that, obviously. But we ate a lot of squash that year, and making it to where we could switch between, we had like 12 different varieties of basil going, and each one made it to where you could make it enjoyable from one
It's
day.
completely unique. And like what you said, like the varieties between like just one plant, like so many different basil plants can make it taste so unique and amazing. So yeah, we'll talk all about our favorites too.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us. Hope you have a good week growing. It's getting close to spring. If you haven't checked out the newest updates to the app, we added some new stuff to the dashboard. We added a countdown that shows you how many weeks until spring it is where you are. We added the calendar view into the dashboard. We added the new garden themes feature recently as well. So,
and we have a rainbow garden theme in there as well, which I'm a fan of.
the first one we did, it.
Yep. Had to get all the rainbow ones together.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with us today. It was fun.
We'll see you next week.
Hopefully, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.